What's up, guys? So today I'm going to share with you this gold mine that I stumbled into on Craigslist. This is the Korg DW-8000. It's a 61 key synthesizer that came out in 1985. So let's talk a little bit about why this synthesizer is unique. So in the time, the Roland D50, for example, was what they called a hybrid synth. So basically, the first part of the sound you played was a sample. It was something pre-recorded, it was on the memory, and then the second half was something that the keyboard itself generated. It was, synthesizing sounds. It was all digital, and in the 80s, as digital synthesizers became more popular, anything analog, anyone that heard the term analog, that was kind of like, yesterday's news, the pioneers of the 70s, the Moog sounds. Digital was this new thing, so people were throwing out their analog synthesizers. Nobody wanted anything to do with analog. So when this DW-8000 came out, it actually has analog filters, and it's got, I think, an analog amplifier as well. But as I was saying about the time, anything analog was kind of like second best. So people saw this DW-8000 as second best because it had the analog elements. This synth was also called a hybrid synth, but for a different reason. It's because it has digital sound engines with analog filters and amplifiers. So that's what makes it a hybrid synth. It's digital and it's analog. It's both. DW actually stands for Digital Workstation because you have the power to change several parameters. You have 2 oscillators with 16 different possible waveforms and I believe 8 different voices. You have 2 poly modes and you have 2 unison modes. With the unison mode, it'll fire all 8 voices at once. In the poly modes, I think you have 2 instances of 8 voices. So 2 different ways to get some really big sounds out of this unit. Even though Korg kind of wrote this off as a failure, several of the sounds and several of the sound engines made its way into the Korg M1, which came out 4 years later. I think 56 out of the 58 different parameters made its way over to the M1 that are directly from this DW-8000. So even though they regarded it as a failure, the engine itself was very good. The quality of sounds is honestly excellent, even by today's standards. I find that several of these sounds are very useful. I actually found this thing by accident. I was just looking on Craigslist one day because I got this Moog Sub-Fatty for pretty cheap on there. So every once in a while I'll just look on Craigslist just for different things, and some of those things happen to be synthesizers, so I just type in synth just to see what comes up. And there's a bunch of $100 Casio keyboards. There's some other stuff on there that's not so great. And then I discovered this Korg DW-8000. I've never heard of the thing before. So I started looking it up and I saw a couple demo videos of some of the sounds it's capable of making, and that definitely caught my attention. So without really hesitating a whole lot, I called the guy up, went to go look at it, and, well, here it is. So I showed up to the guy's house to buy this thing, and he has it in this nice handmade case, which I don't have in the video today. It's downstairs somewhere. But he also had the manual. I got the manual. I got a thank you note from Korg themselves from January 14th, 1986. There's the original sales slip from also 1986, and this is the patch tape. If this thing ever loses its memory, I'll be able to load all the stock presets to it, which is pretty cool. I'm going to show you guys how it sounds in a second, but just so you know, all the sounds in this video are completely from the synthesizer. I didn't add any reverbs, I didn't add any dynamics, no compression. What you're hearing is directly off the synth.